Okay, let's take a look at question 8 and 9. We're going to involve some square roots. Question 8 is basically saying, if you're going to take the square root of all these answers, which one of these answers are non-terminating and non-repeating? Well, what do we mean by that? Well, basically, they're looking for an irrational number. So if you had a number something like, let's just make something up, 2.7532017, right? And it keeps going. This would be the kind of number that fills up your calculator screen, right? So it fills up the screen. It never stops. It never repeats. So this is non-terminating, non-repeating. So all you have to do is look at all of the answers, and you have to take the square root and see what type of number it is. So let's do an example. An example would be, let's say, if we did the square root of 1. Actually, I think that's one of their examples, but we'll use it anyway. So if x equals 1, and we take the square root of 1, we get 1. Well, that is not the type of number we're looking for, all right? What if we used 9? Well, the square root of 9 is 3. Well, 3 is a whole number. It stops. It doesn't repeat. So that's not the kind of number we're looking for. Well, what if x equals 11? So I take the square root 11, and I get 3.3166247, and it keeps going. Well, that looks like the kind of number we're looking for. So what you have to do for question 8 is take the square root of all of the answers and see which ones look like this. Now, question 9 can be a little bit tricky. They give you two equations, a squared equals 1 over 64, and b cubed, or to the third power, equals a. Well, if I can figure out what a equals, I can substitute it in here and then solve for b. Well, if I know what a squared is, I can find out what a is. So if I take the square root of both sides, I now know that a equals the square root of 1 over 64. So now my equation down here can be b cubed equals the square root of 1 over 64. Okay? So how do I solve this? Well, there's a couple different ways. But mostly, if you have your calculator and are able to use the square roots and the cube root signs, that's going to be really helpful. Well, I know just from doing this several times that the square root of 1 over 64 is the same as the square root of 1 over the square root of 64. So that equals 1 and that equals 8. So b cubed equals 1 over 8. So if you took 1 over 8 and you used the square root button, which looked something like this, all right, that button on your calculator, then you should end up with b equaling 1/2. Now, how can we verify that that's true? Well, b cubed would simply be, right? Remember, b cubed equals b times b times b. And if b is 1/2, then I've got 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2, which equals 1/8. And then if I square that, 1/8 times itself, I get 1/64. So hopefully this helps with question 9, which is a little bit tricky.